Have you ever believed in something so strongly only to later realize you were completely wrong? It could be a childhood myth, like believing swallowing a watermelon seed would make a tree grow inside your stomach. Or maybe something like believing in a tooth fairy. You'd lose a tooth, keep it under your pillow, and by morning there'd be money. But one day, you start questioning it. The handwriting on the note looks suspiciously like your mom's. Or maybe you caught your dad sneaking in with a coin. That moment, you unlearn something you believed in so strongly for a long time. Good morning, everyone. I'm Pranati Poornasri, a grade 9 student at SNIS. Today, I want to talk about something which we all need to do but rarely think about. Let that sink in for a moment. Think about all the things you've been taught since childhood. We've been taught rules, facts, even habits. They've shaped how we think and act. But what if some of those things are just holding us back? What if the way forward isn't just about learning more, but unlearning what no longer serves us? Now, I'd like to share what I initially thought unlearning was. I thought unlearning was forgetting everything once the exams were over. I still remember when I was in grade 6, after writing my exam, I remember telling this to my friend. Oh my god, I can finally forget all this and free my mind. Have you ever said something like this to your friend? Yes. So, and I request you all to not do this way because obviously it's a very bad idea. Well, but the truth is that unlearning doesn't mean erasing knowledge. It means questioning, rethinking, and sometimes even replacing what you thought was true. And let me tell you, it's not easy. And I'll tell you why. Because we all love the comfort of what we already know. And change feels awkward and sometimes even scary. But unlearning, that's where the magic happens. So a recent incident in my life when I had to unlearn was when I entered grade 9. I think we all know that grading systems change when we come to grade 9, isn't it? And adapting to a new one was difficult for me. So this happened last semester during RT1. So I wrote my biology test and I was so confident and was expecting an 8 on 8. Because firstly, it was one of my favorite subjects, and secondly, I was very thorough with writing those answers because of my previous experience. But when the results came, I had a huge frown on my face. Guess why? I got a 4 and 5. And I rushed to my teacher and asked what went wrong. And then I realized all this happened because of the misplacement of command terms in my mind. And so basically, I thought describe would be the same as explain. So I thought no big huge difference, so I ignored that. But then I understood the difference between a 4 and a 7. So I had to unlearn it. Now, how did I unlearn this? So, as I mentioned earlier, we love the comfort of what we already know. And I realized that if I held on to my old approaches, I wouldn't be able to perform better. So I had to unlearn my old methods of writing answers and relearn new techniques to improve my responses. And I did so. After reading some of your faces, I think I've been talking a lot about studies now. So let me give you another example. Imagine this was an art class and the teacher asked us all to draw a tree. What is the first thing you'll draw? Maybe we'll start with a trunk and then some branches and then maybe some green leaves, isn't it? That's what I would draw. But imagine being told that trees don't have to look this way. They could be purple, they could be upside down, they could be star-shaped. It feels strange at first, but why? This is because we have learned something so deeply that we have forgotten there are other ways to look at it. This is the power and the challenge of unlearning. I'll give another example. Think about your closet. Now talking about closet, I'll tell you a secret, I have a very messy one. And I think all of us have, yeah. So, you see this shirt I'm wearing today? I bought it this Sunday. And when I went to keep it in my cupboard, I just tried to stuff it in between, and everything fell on me. All the clothes were down on the floor. And I tried to stack it all back, but I couldn't because there was no space. Then this happened because half of it was filled with old clothes which did not fit me anymore. So I had to remove the old ones to make place for the new ones. It's the same with which happens with us. So if we don't unlearn things which no longer help us, we don't have space for new things. Now the question is, what should we unlearn? Some of us say things like, I'm bad at math or I'm bad at sports. And these are just stories we tell to ourselves. I always say I'm bad at sports and I don't even give it a try. So why don't we unlearn these limiting beliefs and instead replace them with statements like, I'll start focusing more on maths, or I'll start practicing that sports more. Unlearning those limiting beliefs will help us to open up to new possibilities and face challenges with confidence instead of self-doubt. So unlearning is something even many famous people have had to do. Take Steve Jobs for instance. In 1985, he was kicked out of his own company, Apple. So it was a huge setback for him. And what did you think Steve Jobs did when he was out of the own company he created? I thought he gave up and started IIT. But that wasn't the truth. Steve Jobs used this time to unlearn, and he used this time to unlearn his old perspectives of coming up with ideas. He never gave up. He came up with a whole new company called Next, and he bought Pixar, which later became famous for animated movies like Toy Story. Then, when he finally got back to Apple, he used all his learning which he got when he was away from Apple, and he used all the new ideas he got to improve his old company, which was Apple. He came with game-changing products like iPod, iPhone, and iPad, and this made Apple one of the most successful companies. Steve Jobs is an example for us, and he proves that letting go of old beliefs helps us learn new things, and it can lead us to many amazing things. The beauty of unlearning is that it creates space to grow, to challenge old beliefs, and to imagine new possibilities. It's about letting go of what no longer serves us, even if it's uncomfortable. So I leave you with this. What's one belief, one habit, or one truth you have held on for too long? Why don't you give yourself the freedom to unlearn it? Because unlearning isn't the end of a story. It's the beginning of a new one. Thank you. And I hope you all don't unlearn what I just said.